again.
Hello. Seems like we were just here.
Yeah.
How is everyone? Good evening. What is that show? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
What is that from?
Isn't that, it's a Newman, or what is that? Oh, man. It's the funny guy that plays,
You're asking the wrong person.
I know you guys are going to know. There's your trivia question. It's a movie. It's good evening, good afternoon. It's the Truman Show. It's the with the funny guy. What's his name?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You don't know what you're gonna get at the nighttime.
It's like video. I used to tell my bosses when I worked. They'd ask me, "Well, can you stay after and work a few more hours?" And I'd say, "Nope. My brain shuts off at 4 o'clock. There's no activity. There's no brainwave. 4 o'clock is my shut-off time." So you guys are in for a treat.
You've never said that to me.
Well, this is fun. But anyway, maybe we should just introduce ourselves just so you guys know. I'm Nettie, and this is my awesome and wonderful daughter and partner that I couldn't do this without, is my sweet, amazing Lindsay. And you guys don't even know, we wouldn't have this if this wasn't for this Lindsay, this girl. And she's amazing. I love her to death, and she does a great job for us. So
thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. So we are here just sitting, live stitching. What are we doing?
Sitting and stitching.
Sitting and stitching. And
so
I brought, since today was the first day of stitching with Mom, I brought my little, I did get the first week done, and so I'm going to try to be a little bit ahead of the game because you guys are just so good. And so, yeah.
I decided to work on my flag, one of my flags. So I'm working on the Old Glory, and I'm hoping I can finish the letters, and then it's just straight stitching after that. So if I go silent, I am counting.
Yeah.
And we didn't plan to match.
No, we didn't.
We both wore blue sweatshirts.
Well, I had a sweater on earlier, and then I was cutting fabric, and I got hot, and so then I changed into a short sleeve shirt for when I went home, and then I got home, and it's turned off cold here in southern Utah. I'm sure you guys are all boo-hooing, but because and then we're gonna sit here and read comments while we work.
I know Emily isn't here to moderate for us. Yeah. I did make a batch of homemade, my famous loaded baked potato soup.
I even tasted some and I spilt it on my shirt, but it looks like it didn't stay.
So I knew she was feeling really bad, and I know she loves that soup a lot, so.
Yeah, even Sawyer loves it.
Oh, everyone loves it. I haven't met anyone who doesn't love my famous soup.
It is an amazing soup. It is so good.
I've been making it for about 12 years, and I have perfected.
And it's really good with a grilled cheese sandwich.
I am on the struggle bus.
And the grilled cheese sandwich has to be out of homemade bread.
I wanted to make her a loaf of homemade bread, but I ran out of time. Yeah. There's something going on here with my thread.
Oh, dear. So what's everybody doing tonight? Anything fun? Oh, Emmy's on here. She says it was good. Oh, yep. We try to take good care of our sickly.
Yeah.
I can't see.
We need the soup recipe. I'll try and read it to you.
It's really good.
Will you share your recipe? I don't know. Just kidding.
It's a family secret.
No,
it's really not. It's
not. I've shared it many times with many people.
And I think you got it from Grandma Moore. You started off with her
recipe.
recipe.
So my Grandma Moore,
great lady.
Oh my gosh.
An
amazing woman. So inspiring. I just want to be just like her when I grow up.
Well, I think we've talked about her. They went on their Grandma Moore, their grandma and grandpa had their 70th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
They had their 70th wedding anniversary, and they had a great big shindig to-do and had all this stuff planned and had live music. And Grandma is such a dancer. She loves to dance. And
she took off her shoes and we knew.
She took her shoes off and she wanted to dance with everybody. I wasn't there, but the girls, and they had pictures. It was just so cute. Her and her man. It just the sweetest couple.
70 years.
70 years together. Unbelievable. And she has 7 children. They're 6 boys and 1 daughter. And so I think all the boys were there but one, they said. And so she was dancing with all the boys, taking their turn, and
she thinks she's a 20-year-old.
She thinks
still.
And she went.
She's gonna be 90 next year.
Yeah, and she went whirling around and she hit the floor and she fell on her shoulder and it like shattered and broke her shoulder and just messed her up. And she's just finally, I know that her daughter, Aunt Janine, she posted today on Facebook that she's doing better, and they decided not to do surgery on it because she is really old and they didn't feel like that it would be a good thing healthy for her to be put under like that. So, but she is recovering really well and doing okay. And so
the soup recipe comes from my grandma. Kind of taught me the base of her cream soups. And if you know my grandma, she's a wonderful chef.
She was an amazing. I learned so many things from her.
And so about.
Did you steal my scissors?
No. About 12 years ago, I went to her house and I said, Grandma, I want your recipes. I want to learn about your recipes. And so we sat in her kitchen for, a few hours and talked about her recipes. And I wrote down several so I could keep them and test them out. And I have tested many of them. And her method for making like a cream-based soup, I use that and I've built on it and I've kind of made it my own and I've perfected it, and over the years I've tried different things, and
it's all gluten-free.
It's gluten-free, and I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't know if anyone knows this. This is a game changer for thickening cream soups. So I do use cream, but to give it a really thick, you use potato flakes.
Instant potato flakes.
So I have all the ingredients. It's cooked all the way, and when I'm ready to thicken it, I wait till almost the end. I sprinkle on potato flakes, and I do a little bit at a time and see how it thickens. And you basically add more to get the consistency that you want. So this is an amazing way to add thickness and substance to your cream soups if you're wanting a thicker soup.
Yeah.
And she taught me that. And earlier on our video, I mentioned I have celiac disease, and so I used to thicken some of my soups with a flour mixture
or cornstarch.
And I can use cornstarch, but I prefer the potato flakes.
Yeah.
You don't really taste the potato flakes. It literally just
you don't.
helps thicken the soup.
It is so good.
Anyway.
It is really good.
We can move on to the next subject. And I will try and share the recipe.
Yeah.
In fact,
she's actually been doing some more cooking lately, and we've reaped the benefits.
Nettie, any wedding plans?
Funny story. So, you know, me and John, we set a date that we wanted to get married on November 26th because we thought, you know, let's just get married, let's just do it or whatever. But in the process, we was like, you know, trying to be adults about it, and we went to visit our accountants because it's tax time, you know.
Getting ready for tax time.
And, you know, and stuff. And so, you know, we wanted to make sure that whatever we did was going to benefit us all and everything. Well, after talking to the tax gentleman, we found that it's going to be better for us to wait until after the first of the year. Otherwise, we would be dinged really bad tax-wise. So, and then also we were having a problem able to get his sons and his sister to come out because, you know, just the holidays and the flights would have been really expensive and everything. And so we decided to wait until spring. And so we haven't set a date yet. We're shooting for the end of May, 1st of June sometime, because we think that it would give his boys and his sister more time to be able to come out and enjoy it with us. And so, yeah, so everything's still a go. We just decided just to kind of wait and
I think that's nice because then we have more time to help get ready and it won't feel like such a rush.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and also it has turned, we want to do it back on his patio. And
hey everyone.
Because it's just so beautiful. I don't know if you guys are familiar with southern Utah, but it's all red mountains, like the red clay. The red mountains are just amazing. I'll have to sometime take some pictures and post them on my Instagram of the view he has, of what we have on the back patio. Is just amazing. But it has turned off really cold here, which is unusual for it to be this cold this fast down here. And so we're like, wow, maybe it was best that we held off, because then we can hold off in the spring and it will get nice and warm again and we can still use the patio and have everything there. So it's all still a go. I just, I mentioned this morning that he had a knee replacement done last Monday. And so he's doing really good, doing really well, and just trying to get him back so he can tap. I tease him that he's going to learn how to tap dance.
Hello, everyone that's joining.
Hi, everybody.
So glad you could make it. We're just sitting here stitching.
Yeah.
Mom's working on our Christmas barn.
Yep, got my Christmas barn.
I'm working on one of my flags. So...
What's everybody? I seen somebody saying they were working on their ABC chart. Like the B one or whatever.
I am struggling tonight.
Let's see. Trying to think of anything else. It says, hi from Michigan. You were missed today, Emily. Hope you are feeling better soon. Yes, she's very well missed.
Yeah, she was.
We miss it when one of us are out, or all of us, and there's just one. As you guys all know, we're a family-ran business. It's me and my 4 daughters, and oh my gosh, we could not do it without any one of us.
Someone's working on hive rules.
Yeah.
I will tell you, so what's awesome about our nighttime stitching, you know, you may hear like what I'm working on design-wise. And I am working on a Valentine's Day project.
It is so cute. She's been sharing pictures with us.
It is a Valentine's Day subway art. I'm finishing a Halloween stitch, but I'm going to start Christmas this weekend. Awesome. Busy working on Christmas rolls. A lot of people are working on Christmas rolls, and I love to see that. I get so much joy seeing my designs out in the world. It makes my heart happy.
You know, you guys, it's so funny. I was talking to Katie earlier, and I says, I just don't know if everybody realizes how much stress that Lindsay and Katie and now Emily go through when they design something new, and how much they stress over if you guys are gonna like it and what you guys are gonna think and you know, and stuff. It's just because they'll take one. It's so funny because they'll take one piece and it will just come to them and they'll just fly through it, and we do it and it's just crazy, just perfect. And then they'll do another one, and if they think on it too long or hold it too long, it just can be a nightmare. So
yeah,
you guys, they really take a lot of time and heart and soul into.
Nothing is ever just slapped together.
Never.
We take pride in our designs, and like Mom said, we want to give you something that we're proud of.
Yeah.
And we work really hard on that, and I kind of talked about it in the video this morning. I've been designing for a long time now, cross stitch, you know, more recently, but
the quilt patterns.
Yeah, and I put so much love and thought into my designs, and one thing that I have loved, oh, thank you. One thing that I love is seeing my style develop and grow and change as a designer. Yep. I'm always changing. I never want to like put myself into a box and only do one type of thing.
You know, and I can see how when we first started, how her designs have evolved around how some were really simple and everything, and how they've gotten more detailed, more classy even.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. And same with Katie. Like I was mentioning today, the one that she redid, I absolutely love. And you know, it's just such joy when they come out, and then when you guys are so excited when we bring out new charts of how much you love them. It's just, it makes our heart sing.
I'm working on Christmas Barn, also doing, this is why we need Emily. I can't read it fast enough. So Emily is moderating. If you have any burning questions, you'll have to ask her. But I did want to mention,
and Katie might be on here
she was going to be late.
She was going to be late, but
those of you waiting for the All Things Winter retreat piece so you can get started, it will be ready. I will be sending it off to Elaine tomorrow. I have worked so hard on this design, and I think you guys are going to love it. So I am really excited about it. I just can't wait for you guys to see it. Yeah. I think there's still spots for the retreat.
Yep.
We just booked our flights.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And it made it so much more real. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be here before we know it.
Well, and what's fun is us girls are going out for the retreat. We're going to do that. And then all of our men are flying out like on that Sunday after. And we're going to stay for like 3 or 4 days extra because none of us have been to Florida before. And so we're going to do a little bit of sightseeing tour. You're going to be a little tour.
None of us have been to Florida. Well, actually, Katie.
Yeah, Katie and Shane have been, but just very short.
How big is the design for the Annabellas retreat? I want to say it's like 125 by 70. Ish. That's not a for sure. I don't have it like sitting in front of me. Your patterns are what got me back into cross stitch. Aww. Oh my gosh, thank you. You guys, your sweet comments. I had a really rough afternoon. And
we're just gonna say, if you don't have something nice to say, when my mom raised me, and I know that's probably a lot with everybody, you know, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And unfortunately, that's what happened this afternoon. And, you know, it just, you know, we're all human. We're all very human. And sometimes some things are said out of not being ignorant or being snarky. But, you know, we all have to realize that we all have feelings and stuff. But I'll tell you what, this girl here, this business and our business here would not be possible if it wasn't for Lindsay. She's our main designer. She's the person who researches and does everything. When me and her first started, it was just the quilting, and I am not a computer person. I don't like them. I don't do well with them. And so it was just me and her. Yeah. And when we started doing so well and we needed more help, the first thing we did is the other girls, they jumped on the bandwagon and said, we want to be a part of it. We want to help you guys. And we're not perfect. We are not perfect, but there's sometimes we don't share the bad, but
just be mindful.
Yeah.
You know, we're real people.
Yeah.
With real feelings. And
it's hard, but you know what? We love, and most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, you guys are amazing. And you just bring us up so much. And
it's funny how just one comment can just, you know, it hurts so much.
Especially when you put so much of your life into something so much that you love.
And so all of your sweet comments, they mean a lot to me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm just so emotional. My hormones are off balance, you guys. We know this.
Yeah.
So,
but
thank you.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. But so we all circled around her today and gave her all the loves and everything, and and I think it was funny, the one person that was just as concerned and that was John. He was the first one to get on there and go, what was going on? Who's doing this? You know, and so
poor Charlie, because I was like, I couldn't stop crying, and he's like, he just kept asking, are you okay, Mom? And it's so, okay, what's really funny is I was cutting up onions to put in the soup, and I was crying, and I'm like, it's just the onions, I'm not crying. But he knew I was really crying. But, anyway.
But yeah, so we're good, everything's good, and stuff. So, but so the other thing that we've been doing lately is we've been reading our books.
Yeah.
And when we all got together a few weeks ago when we was up north, we all decided to read a book and
have our own book club.
Have our own little book club, just me and the girls. And I can't remember what the book was called.
The Good Sister.
Yes, by you remember who it was by?
I can bring it up really quick.
So it was pretty good. I mean, it was okay. It was pretty good. At first, when I started reading it, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, because they really portrayed the mom as being super mean, terrible.
Yeah. So, thank you for all your comments. I will come back and read them all when I get home.
Yeah.
So, the book is The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. Whoops. I wanted to see if I could. This is the cover.
Yep, The Good Sister. And it was actually pretty good. I mean, it was, what would you call it?
It's like a psychological, I would say thriller, because it's not like suspenseful, I don't feel like.
But it kept you guessing.
But it's kind of like a mystery thriller, suspense. Like, I don't know.
Because finally you said, because not going to lie, you know, there's some crazy people in it. And, but it was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. We had our, you know, Lindsay didn't care much for it.
I have a hard time with psychological thriller type books. I don't know why. I just anyway, but it kept me entertained, and I wanted to finish it, and I think we all I would say out of 5 stars, I think the average was 2.5.
Yeah. But
Emily didn't read it because she is like into really high fantasy type of books. So
and I just can't read.
I go in like these like cycles where I love reading the high fantasy, and then I get kind of bored of that, and I go back into like really good fiction.
And I liked your murder mystery, your suspense. I mean, back in the day when I first started really spending a lot of time reading, when the girls were really small, and I'd go to the library and get 20 books at a time.
I feel like I remember that, actually.
I mean, I'm not kidding. Whatever they would allow me to take, I would take. And I did a lot of reading. And it was the romance. It was the historical romance novels, you know, with Fabio. And stuff. And then, you know, I did a lot of reading a lot of times for a lot of years. And then I got to buying books, and I had bookshelves and bookshelves of books. I mean, it was crazy. But now it's like I have a hard time reading romance books now. They're so cheesy. And I have to tell you, one of the books that I read the other day, and I didn't realize that it was going to be a cheesy romance, because it was pretty spicy. And I was like, why am I reading this? But I finished it, and it was called Ugly Love.
By Colleen Hoover.
Yeah. And her books right now are pretty popular out there on the market. And so I read that one, and it was good, but again, it was really a mushy love story one. I didn't feel like there was a big love story. I was like, no character building, no nothing. But then I stuck with that author, and I just finished November 9.
Yeah.
And it was actually really good. I have to say that one, it had some romance in it, but it wasn't as spicy and juicy, but it had a lot of character building and a lot of good story in that one. So I would recommend that one.
I've read a lot of her books. It's so interesting because when she wasn't like that well known, I was reading her stuff. And on my Audible account, it kept popping up to read.
She has a lot of books.
Oh, it starts with a V.
Oh, I think I know what you're saying. I can see it in my...
Did you read that one?
I'm not sure. I have to tell you guys, so we have the app that's called Goodreads. And so we did a thing that at the beginning of the year was like I think me and Katie, we started it. And we were like, let's keep track and set a goal of how many books we're going to want to read. And I thought, okay, so I thought, oh, I'm only going to be able to read like 20 books. Well, I reached that within January. And so then I was like, okay, let's see. So then I thought, well, I'm going to turn 58 this year. So I'll read 58 books. Well, I reached that way before my birthday. And so now, and then when I met John, it's kind of slowed down, but I'm up to like 89 books for the year.
I haven't kept track.
And so I thought my new goal by the end of the year, I should try to get to 100 and see if that will work. So we'll see.
So the book I was talking about, it's called Verity by Colleen Hoover. And it had been a while since I've like listened. I listen to books. I don't read them because I feel like I'm wasting time if I read a book.
I used to hand read, when the girls were little, but I think you introduced me to the Audible book because you had the Audible and should purchase them.
I've been using Audible for years. Anyway, so I had a really hard time with Verity. A really hard time. I would not recommend that book. I had a really hard time with it, and I couldn't believe it was so popular. So I'm
why
very
did you have
picky.
a hard time? What was wrong? Like
there was a
romance?
lot of triggering things, like the death of children, just really ugly things that, as you can tell, I'm an emotional person.
Yeah.
So these type of books, like, really, like, oh, I can't do it. But in the last year, my favorite book that I have read is The Dictionary of Lost Words. It is so well written. I could not say enough about this book. I loved every minute of it. In fact, I bought a hard copy because I was like, I want to read this again because it's just so fascinating. And the book, so it's about how the Oxford Dictionary came to be. And I have never thought, like, how is a dictionary made? Like, how did they originally make a dictionary? And it follows a young girl, although, like, as she grows up to adulthood, and the making of the Oxford Dictionary. So fascinating. There's a lot of historical elements in it, which I love those types of books that talk about real things that have happened.
I do too. I love history. And so when they bring in actual real events,
yes,
I love it.
I loved that book. Yeah. And it's not like a book where there's like, oh, this is like a I don't know, like, it's very even. There's not like, ooh, you know, like how some books are. It's very just, it was very soothing to listen to, I guess.
Yeah. And I still have my favorite authors from back years ago when I was buying books and reading them so much. Like, my number one favorite author is Sandra Brown. I love Sandra Brown books, and she is a romance novelist. Yeah. So, but she also, again, there's always a murder mystery. There's always some kind of mystery. And she's got a couple out there that, like, there's one called Mirror Images. That is one book I could read twice. I bet I've read 2 or 3 times that book or more. Read that one. That is a good book. And there's a couple other ones that are just really good. the other author that I could just absolutely read all the time, and it's interesting because her name's LaBear Spencer. I cannot get her Audible books. They don't come on Audible. And there's one of her books that I owned, and I had it forever, and I borrowed it to Jessie because she absolutely loved it, and I kept it forever, but I think I got rid of it because I don't know, I don't have it, but it's called Years. And oh my gosh, that is the best book ever. It is so good. It talks about, oh, I think it was like before the 1940s, and a woman came to be a school teacher out on the prairies in North or South Dakota.
I love that time period.
Oh, and there's a romance, and she had to stay with a family that the guy was just a grouchy old guy that, you know, he lost his wife or his love and she stayed in the house with the mother and learned how to cook and just live on the prairie. And oh my gosh, just an amazing book. So if you guys want something good to read, it's called LaBear Spencer, and it's Years. An excellent book.
Somebody else asked the book I was talking about. It is called The Dictionary of Lost Words by, I think it was her first novel, I believe, and I could not believe it. Her writing was just like amazing.
How's everybody stitching? Are we getting anywhere? I got a barn door almost.
Okay, the author is Pip Williams. And let me bring up it's actually a Reese Witherspoon book club pick.
Yeah.
But I read it before it was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick.
And you know, and if you guys, well, since you're on Instagram, if that's whatever, but Reese Witherspoon has a really good Instagram book club.
Yeah, so here is the cover. It's like a suitcase with words. Pip Williams.
Yeah.
Great book.
Yeah.
Great book.
Yeah. There's, you know, I love books that have some kind of history and you know, even though it can be a lot of fiction and that, you know, when they put in some history and you know
when they base it on historical events, yep. I will always pick those.
Yeah.
I
love those. Too. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's what we've been doing. What's the new book? We are going to be reading a new book, and Lindsay picked it. Okay, so
I picked the new book club. It is called, so if you guys want to read along, we will be discussing this book. I think we picked a day, but I can't remember what it was. It is called, let me bring it up here. All the Children Are Home by Patri Francis. I don't know if you can see.
It's like these little kids walking across to.
And so far, how far am I? I feel like I'm pretty far.
You guys are so sweet. Your comments are just amazing.
And so, I'm about halfway, I think, but Mom said Jessie has finished it.
Yeah, Jessie finished it, and she says she absolutely loved it. And
so I'm excited to finish it.
Yeah, so, and I'm excited. I'm waiting until Lindsay finishes it. I usually get all my books on our library app, and if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's called Libby. And if you are a card holder from your local library, you just download the app Libby, and then it will ask you your card number from your library, and it will hook you in. And so you can go in and you can borrow books, and you can borrow them to read or you can borrow them to listen to. And they're free. And so some books are available and some aren't. I mean, that's the downfall. And the book that she chose isn't available in my library to listen to. And Lindsay, she she bypasses that. She just buys them. If she's interested in it, she buys it on the Audible. And so then I wait for her to finish and then I go. But I have to say, so far this year, I mean, there's been many books that I've really liked, but if I was to say what book that I liked the most this year that I would love to read again would be To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes.
I absolutely would recommend that book, especially the one that Sissy Spacek, she narrated it. An amazing job. And I want to listen to that one again. It's just such beautiful. A classic. And what's interesting is, you know how books, they're always going to go into more detail than what the movie. Well, I've always been the one that growing up watching To Kill a Mockingbird all my life. I mean, I bet I watch it once a year. I own it. I love it and everything. But what's amazing is there's so much more detail in that book and about the characters and everything that just brings it to life.
Yeah.
I would just encourage anybody to read that book. It is an amazing book. So
really great book and movie.
Yeah. So
we watch that quite often as well.
Yeah. It's like a once a year. It's kind of like a winter movie for me. I just like, it's a cozy winter movie for me. So
I would say that.
Yeah. But one of the things we forgot to talk about today on our live was our Sip and Stitch. Who is excited for our Sip and Stitch? We finally got the last part in the mail today, so we are going to get to start assembling our Sip and Stitch this coming week.
So mark your calendars, set your alarms. The winter Sip and Stitch is dropping November 20th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, we have done our best to order as much as possible.
Oh, you guys, we
really don't want to sell out. We want everyone, I mean, we do want to sell all of our inventory that we bought. But we bought
a lot this time.
Yeah, and because we want everyone to be able to enjoy it. And the awesome thing about Sip and Stitch is I design an all new pattern and you guys get it first. The Sip and Stitch box people get it first. So
like a whole month before anybody else. Before we release it to the world.
The sip part, I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's something you can use all year round for your sipping.
And I'll just tell you right now, is I've been using mine.
Oh, have you?
Yes, I have. Oh. Yes. In fact, I was thinking I might have to purchase another one. or snag another one and just pretend I didn't because I love it. It is just perfect. Oh, well, let's hope that you get one this time because we did. We ordered a lot and just.
So it comes with the chart. It comes with all the floss you need for the chart. It comes with the sipping part, whether it's usually a mug of some kind, and then some extra little goodie.
So we're excited that we're able to get this to you guys
and it's not Christmas.
No,
it doesn't say Christmas. It can be used all winter long. So
it will be nice.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all we're saying about that. Don't have nothing more to say about that. I don't know about you guys, but when I sit and stitch, I have to have a treat. And we have extra Halloween candy here. So, Mom's having a treat.
Need some chocolate.
You gotta have some chocolate.
All right, I got my glory word done.
So far I've got my barn door.
I'm gonna move on to the red. How long have we been on?
We've been on here for 44 minutes. How is everybody? Are we tired yet? I'm missing the ball game, I know.
Which ball game?
There should be a football game on.
Oh, Thursday night football.
Yeah, it's Thursday night football.
So I have been obsessed with the Great British Bake Off show.
Oh.
I have never seen it, never even heard of it, because I don't watch TV. Like I don't watch TV.
Mm-mm.
And partly because everyone in my house takes the TV.
Which is really funny because when she was a little girl, she was the biggest TV watcher. She would sit there and it was like, I get my place back, my remote, my TV, and my spot. It was like a whole reel of things.
Yeah.
That don't happen in her house, no.
Now I've been watching it and I've been stilling the TV and my husband doesn't even know what to do. He's like, can I watch TV? I'm like, no, you can watch it on your phone. Anyway, so
that's funny.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be
a chef.
Mm-hmm. And more specifically, a pastry chef.
And when finances was available that we got cable TV, which back in the day, that was a luxury to have cable.
Right.
And stuff. And so the Food Network, oh my gosh, you couldn't get her off the Food Network and all the challenges and all. We got so sick of watching Food Network. And if it wasn't Food Network, it was wrestling.
We don't need to go there.
She was the biggest. She loved The Rock.
Yes, I did.
Yes. And we would kick her out of the family room and she'd have to go upstairs and watch TV in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because we got sick of watching either the Food Network or The Rock.
So, how old was I when for Christmas I got a mixer? I got a recipe card holder.
What grade were you in? Were you still in elementary?
No, I would say I was probably in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I think I was a year older than Hannah. And, or younger, sorry. So I asked for Christmas.
I bet you were probably like Charlie's age.
Yeah,
like
12.
I bet you were about 12.
I asked for Christmas.
A mixer.
I wanted a cooking mixer.
A KitchenAid.
Like, yeah.
Like a KitchenAid.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna get it. It wasn't a kitchen. It was like a knockoff or something.
Yeah, so I got a
one.
knockoff, like, sit down, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the first recipe I made was the, we call them the Mexican wedding cookies. They go by a lot of different names, like snowball cookies, Russian tea cookies.
Yeah.
Shoot, I put that in the wrong spot. That was the first recipe I ever made in my mixer. And from then on...
Easiest cookie ever.
I cooked all the time. I cooked our family meals. Yep. I baked all the time. Me and Emily were like this, and we would bake together.
I have a picture of her when she was just... I don't know if she's still in diapers or not, but she was always up in my grill trying to be the one to stir, to cook, to whatever.
I wanted to help. When Mom went into the kitchen,
she was there.
I was there. And I learned to cook from my mom.
Yep.
And I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And it was my dream to become a pastry chef.
And the other thing is I had to teach her how to cook because the only thing this child would eat in her life was rice. Just regular white rice. And all she does is she'll either just put butter on it and then she'll saturate it with soy sauce. About gags me. But I'm not kidding. I think I taught her how to make rice when she was 4, if not earlier.
If not earlier.
Because
I don't know. It just was very soothing. I have my palate, like, things taste very strong to me.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
So yeah, so I had to teach her how to do her own rice cooking because I got sick of cooking rice. And she'd come home from school every day and she'd cook her a new batch of rice.
I did.
And then she taught her best friend how to eat it and what to do. And I think one day she told us that was her favorite dish.
Yeah. And now my little Avery,
she's the same way.
She's a
rice eater.
She's my rice eater. And so back to the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah, sorry.
I've been watching that, and it has inspired me to put on my apron and bake again, because let's be honest, I haven't really baked and enjoyed it for years. Yeah. Years and years. And
she makes cinnamon rolls to die for, just so you know.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try one of these recipes and I'm going to make it gluten-free. And I had so much fun. It was so relaxing. I just did it for me. It wasn't about making sure, like, I wasn't like doing it for anyone, but the experience of baking. And I made individual little pineapple upside down cakes, and they were so good.
They were really good. She texts me a picture and she's like, look at this. And I says, oh my gosh. And so then Avery, she texts me and she's like, what's up, G-Ma? And I'm just like, I'm just sitting here with John watching the ball game, and it was pouring rain. And she goes, Mom just made the most delicious dessert. And I was like, well, you gonna bring some over? And Lindsay's like, well, come get some. And I says, no, the old folk are in for the night. It's raining. And so they brought us some over, and oh my gosh.
All right, are you ready? There it is.
It was so good. And it was gluten-free. You'd never know it.
It was so moist.
It was
and so
upside down pineapple,
flavorful. And I made real whipped cream to go on it. And just, it's a classic dish. So tasty.
Everybody loved it.
It was so light, the cake. So
if anybody's
I enjoyed myself so much. I'm like, Tuesdays, because Tuesday is like my day for myself, where I work from home if I want. I do what I want to do, because the rest of my days is not like that.
No.
And I'm going to bake something every Tuesday and try to make it gluten-free.
Well, and I don't know if anybody's ever experienced cooking with gluten-free. A lot of time it's really hard, and it comes out very gritty. And like dry, gritty. It's not moist. It's just like But I have to say, Lindsay has mastered a handful of things or more that just are so good.
Yes.
And you'd never know it. And they're just really good.
You couldn't even tell it. Well, I'm kind of like biased because I haven't had real flour for like 6 years, you guys.
Yeah.
And so I can't really tell at this point if something is really, I mean, I can to a certain extent, but
it probably tastes weird to you now, just for the fact, you know how, like, because like years ago I used to just drink regular Coke, and then I got hooked on Diet Coke, and now to drink regular Coke, it's like, ew, that's just too sweet. So, I mean, I think it'd be that same kind of concept as now you'd probably be going, oh, I don't taste as good as I thought it would.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just enjoyed myself. And
well, we enjoyed tasting it. It was very good.
Very good.
Her and Brandon, they brought me and John over a little snack, and oh man, it was delicious.
Still warm.
It was still warm. That real Cool Whip or whatever you whipping cream. And I have to tell you a funny story. When Lindsay met Brandon, you know, our family revolves around food, as you can tell.
we love cooking.
We love cooking. I was raised by parents that absolutely loved cooking. They were good cooks. My mom, my dad. I learned a lot from my dad. He was a really good cook. Mm-hmm. And then also my mother-in-law, like we said, she was an amazing cook.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Where was I going with this?
The whipping cream.
Oh, the whipping cream in Brandon. So when we met Brandon, he come over and we were, you know, putting on the big spread and the dessert and everything. And he's like, you know, we pull out the dessert and I'm making the whipping cream and making it, you know, and everything. He goes, I've never had real whipping cream. And I says, wait a minute. You're saying you've never tasted real whipping cream in your life?
Oh, nope. Man, you're missing out.
Nope. And he goes, we're like, you are missing out. I mean, I love a good carton of Cool Whip.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's Cool Whip.
It's Cool Whip. But there is nothing like a good whipping cream that's fresh, heavy cream, little bit of powdered sugar in it, vanilla. It's to die for.
Oh, Avery couldn't stay out of it. She was like, this is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like heaven.
She's my mini me.
Yeah.
She likes a lot of the same things I like.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, you know, back in the old days, back in the olden days, we used to go to the local farmer on, I think it was like Sunday night, and they had the great big jars of milk, the glass jars. And we would take our empty jars and we would go put 2 empty jars on the counter, and then in their fridge in their garage we was able to get 2 fresh jars of fresh milk from the cows. And on top of those jars was about that much heavy cream. And so every Sunday my dad would make whipping cream out of that, and he would make some kind of sugary cocoa something to sprinkle on top, and we would literally just layer the whipped cream, the sugary spread, the whipped cream.
Oh, that's funny.
And you know, and it was just, you know, it was a poor man's treat.
Yeah.
You know, we were all just poor and everything, and that was
funny story now that you say that about Grandpa. So it was always like a fun little thing when we got to sleep over at Grandma and Grandpa's. And I remember one time me and my cousin slept over, and my grandpa had cut up a bunch of fresh peaches, and he's like, do you girls want peaches and cream? And I had no idea what it was. Like, I had never had it, and I probably was only, I couldn't have been
8, maybe 7.
Yeah, because he passed away when I was 9.
Yeah.
And so I was probably 7 or 8, and he brings me in a fresh bowl of peaches and cream, and it was the best thing I have ever had.
Yep.
Was
peaches and cream.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. He always had the good stuff.
Yes, he did. He had the good stuff.
And then also it was just so FYI, and I was going to mention this morning when Charlie was on here. Charlie was named after my dad, and so it's always a special part in our heart.
I just have always felt really connected to my grandpa.
Yeah, and when she was growing up, my dad, you would never see him. He had a great big, and it was a red mug, like a Coke, like a thermal mug type thing. Yeah. And he didn't only have a regular straw in there. He had a plastic rubber straw. And when Lindsay was born, she was his pride and joy. I mean, he loved all the grandkids, but they just connected, and she was always in his back pocket, and she absolutely loved.
I just followed him around.
Followed
everywhere.
him around, and I think it was because of the Coke. He always had Diet Coke in his mug, and she was always wanting to have a sip of Grandpa's Coke, and one day he come over to the house and he had brought her own mug and own straw, but it just wasn't the same because Mom would not put Diet Coke in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, her and my dad were really close. So
yeah.
But anyway, so how is everybody? I think we've hit a all-time, what does that say?
60 minutes.
60
All right, let's
minutes.
wind this down.
Yeah. We're
I'm sorry if we didn't answer your questions. I know Emily's been on here answering and moderating.
Yeah. We will go through. We'll have to, and maybe see if we can answer some of the questions.
Do you guys enjoy the Sit and Stitch?
I hope you guys enjoy it, and of our babbling and whatever we've had,
It's just, in the hustle and bustle of life, I personally crave connection.
Yeah.
And it makes what I do more special.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys are my friends. And my stitching and quilting friends.
You guys are.
So I really enjoy it. Although I was really nervous because I was like, I'm really emotional and I don't want to cry. And guess what? I cried. So
But that's okay.
It's fine. But
it's all right, and we're good. And you guys have made us both feel very loved. And very just, you guys are our friends.
Yeah.
I absolutely love sitting here and doing this with everybody, and it's just,
at the end of the day, it's having connection and being present.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we need as people.
Yeah.
That makes our heart happy. And I feel like,
well, I think in the last couple of years with like the pandemic and everything, we were all forced to stay in and just shut ourselves off. And now it's like we're out and we can get out and do everything. But, to be honest, me and Lindsay, we're all homebodies.
I have a hard time.
I was just telling,
I get anxiety.
I was just telling her on the way over to the shop so we could do this here at the shop. I says, I think we need, at the first of the year, we need to pick a day and just say, this is our day that we hang out, we do what we want, and we get out, because
no work. But like if we want to sew together.
Yeah.
If we want to go shopping.
Yep. That we just go shopping, we go sew, we get a bite to eat, or we just go
spending time with each other,
because
it's so important.
It's so important to spend time with your family, your friends, and to have that social life, because again, we're homebodies. I mean, I can't, I like to stay home and watch the news and watch whatever's playing, and it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
So
should we show our progress?
Yes.
And then call it a night?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Mom.
This is mine. I got a barn door and a little bit of a tree. So I am going to be working on that fast and furious, so I can show next week that I got my barn done.
I finished my Old Glory, the words, and I started on the red.
Good job.
Good. This is going to be really easy. The rest, it'll be a nice, easy stitch. So I can't wait to go and read all the comments later.
Oh, I can't either. That is my most favorite thing to do, is in the evening I just sit and I'll scroll and read all the comments and stuff. It's so fun to see what everybody says and what you guys like, and all the suggestions, and we just love you. Love you to death.
Yep. So we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah.
And
Lindsay's going to have fun. What are you doing? Should we say what we're doing?
Yeah. So my husband and I are having just a little trip. We're headed to Vegas to we got tickets to Cirque du Soleil, their water show, so I'm really excited.
Oh.
I've never been to a Cirque du Soleil show. So we're doing that Saturday night, and then the next day we are going to a Las Vegas Raiders football game.
Yep. So Katie and Shane, they have season tickets to the Raiders, and so they're always very, very generous and letting us
buy tickets
from them. And that, but yeah, so Lindsay and Brandon, they're gonna go do that, and I've offered to be with the kids, and so they can have that couple time. So me and John, we're gonna keep an eye on the kids and see, that make sure that
I'm sure they're just gonna make you guys laugh and.
Oh man, we get such a kick out of, especially the two little ones. I call them the littles. Charlie and Avery, because they're, especially Avery. You guys got to meet Charlie, and really one day we'll have to bring Avery on, because
she'll brighten your day.
She just brightens.
She's a ball of sunshine.
She is. That girl, she's hardly ever down, and she got a new phone. And so I am her new best friend, and she texts me practically every day, and she calls me G-Ma. And she'll text me and she's like, "What's up, G-Ma?"
I know. She's so cute.
She does. She just makes my heart just sing. I love her to death. And I love when my grandkids reach out to me and want to just talk to grandma and stuff. So anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in.
Us. Love you guys.
Love you all. Thanks for spending the evening with us. And we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.